The Galactic Council chamber was silent. Leaders from 100 species sat in the grand hall, their faces tense, their eyes sharp. They were speaking about Earth, about humanity, about the strange race that had always pretended to be weaker than it truly was. For years, humans had hidden behind diplomacy, sending small ships, trading with smiles, speaking softly in meetings. Most aliens thought humans were young and fragile, a race that needed protection. But some voices inside the council had always whispered something different. They said humans were hiding, that the mask of weakness was nothing more than a clever game. One elder from the Korath species stood, his scaled hand pointing at the star map. "Look carefully," he hissed. "Human colonies grow faster than any others. Their trade expands. Their science evolves in silence. And yet they always send small fleets, always play the fool. Does this not seem strange to you?" The chamber murmured, but most leaders dismissed his words. It was easier to believe that humans were harmless. It was safer to believe the mask. But then came the news that froze the entire galaxy. On the edge of the Helion sector, an alien fleet of 50 warships had surrounded a single human vessel. The aliens demanded surrender. They laughed at the small size of the ship. The human captain's voice echoed through the channels, calm and steady. "Humanity does not kneel," he said. The council chamber leaned forward as the story was told. The alien fleet opened fire, beams of light smashing against the human shields. The galaxy expected the human vessel to shatter, but instead, scanners reported something impossible. The ship's energy levels spiked far beyond known limits. A new power signature burst out, one the galaxy had never seen before. In seconds, the small vessel fought back. Weapons appeared from hidden panels, glowing with strange blue fire. The first alien cruiser exploded, then the second, then the third. The alien fleet panicked, their formation breaking apart. The human ship moved like a predator, cutting through them with precision. The battle that should have lasted hours ended in minutes. Whispers spread across the galaxy. The recordings were played in every chamber, every capital, every palace. The weak human mask was gone, and something terrifying stared back. The council leader, a tall figure with silver skin, slammed his hand on the table. "This is not defense," he shouted. "This is power, hidden power, the kind only used when deception has ended. Humanity has lied to us all." On Earth, the people watched the same recordings. Children in schools saw the small ship destroy a mighty fleet. Workers in factories cheered, their voices echoing across the cities. The truth could no longer be hidden. Humanity had revealed its teeth. The galaxy trembled. In a secret chamber beneath the mountains of Earth, human commanders gathered. They had always known this day would come. For years they had studied alien tactics, alien weapons, alien ships. They had built their own technology in silence, stronger, sharper, deadlier. And now, the mask was off. There would be no going back. The human admiral, an old man with deep scars, looked at his officers. "They will come for us now," he said, his voice heavy. "The council will declare us a threat. They will unite against us, but let them come. They believe we are only one ship. They have no idea what sleeps beneath our skies." Across the galaxy, fear grew. Alien rulers whispered to each other, trying to calm their citizens. But the recordings kept spreading. A single human vessel had destroyed 50 warships. What could an entire fleet do? What could Earth itself unleash? The council sent urgent messages calling for unity. They declared that humanity must be stopped. They called Earth a danger, a liar, a deceiver. But deep inside, even they were afraid, for the galaxy had seen what humanity truly was, and once the mask was removed, there was. The galaxy burned with whispers after the Helion battle. 50 warships destroyed by a single human vessel, and the council could no longer pretend. Across the stars, leaders screamed in panic, citizens demanded answers, and fleets were rushed into formation. The order was clear. Humanity was to be crushed before it could rise any further. 1,000 alien ships gathered in the Korath expanse. They were proud, united, certain that sheer numbers would be enough. From insectoid generals to reptilian lords, from gas-breathing species to crystal-bodied commanders, they all shared one belief. Humanity was only strong because of trickery, but against the galaxy's full power, Earth would fall. The humans, however, did not hide. One fleet appeared on the edge of the expanse, only 20 ships in total. The alien commanders laughed when they saw the count. Some even believed the humans were surrendering. But then the signals came through, cold and sharp. "Test them," one commander ordered. "Crush them quickly, send their wreckage back to Earth as a warning." The alien armada moved like a wave. Massive ships bristling with cannons unleashed fire, beams of energy, plasma storms, rail slugs the size of cities, all converged on the small human fleet. The galaxy expected silence, expected wreckage, expected screams. Instead, the void exploded with blue fire. Human ships revealed weapons hidden in their hulls, cannons that bent light itself, missiles that twisted through space, projectiles that vanished and reappeared inside enemy ships. The alien armada's first line shattered in seconds. Their shields meant nothing. Their armor peeled open like paper. The galaxy gasped as reports streamed in. Alien admirals shouted, ordering retreats, ordering counterattacks. But it was too late. The human fleet moved with deadly precision, each ship striking like a blade. They targeted East and ships first, silencing the voices that tried to rally the armada. They crippled carriers, destroyed fuel barges, cut apart communications. The battlefield was chaos. From orbiting stations, millions watched the live broadcast. They saw proud empires begging for help, begging for reinforcements. They saw human weapons no one had ever studied, no one had ever imagined. The council chambers shook with panic. If 20 ships could slaughter an armada, what did Earth truly hide? Inside the flagship Resolute, Admiral Marcus Kane stood tall, his voice calm. He spoke to his fleet with simple words. "Remember, they thought we were weak, they mocked us, they caged us in diplomacy. Today we show them the truth. Today we strike not as prey, but as hunters." And his words carried through the entire battle. Human ships unleashed their most terrible weapon. A sphere of dark energy formed, silent and cold. When it expanded, it erased 20 enemy ships instantly. No explosion, no wreckage, just silence. The aliens screamed, calling it impossible, unnatural, a crime against physics itself, but humanity did not stop. Within an hour, the once proud alien armada was broken, half their fleet destroyed, the rest fleeing in chaos. The humans did not chase every ship. They let survivors run, carrying the story, carrying the terror, carrying the truth. It was not just a battle, it was a message. Humanity wanted the galaxy to know. This was only the beginning. In the ruins of the battlefield, a single transmission echoed across the stars. It came from Earth, calm and chilling. "You forced us to remove the mask," the voice said. "Now you will see the face of war, and it will not end until you kneel." Civilizations across the galaxy fell into fear. Some races began to prepare for surrender. Others swore vengeance, but all knew one thing. The humans had lied for years, and now the truth was fire. The Council declared a galactic emergency. Every empire was ordered to commit ships, soldiers, and resources, but deep inside, even their leaders doubted. Because in one battle, humanity had proven what no species ever had. They could fight the entire galaxy and still smile. They could take on empires united, and they had only just begun. The stars grew colder, the drums of war thundered louder, and in the shadow of Earth, new fleets began to rise. The galaxy had seen the first strike, and it was only the start of something far greater. The council chamber shook with arguments. Voices rose, claws slammed on tables, wings fluttered in panic. Every empire demanded answers, demanded plans, demanded vengeance, but beneath all their words was the same truth. They were afraid. The galaxy had thrown 1,000 ships against Earth's fleet and lost. If 20 human vessels could destroy an armada, what would happen if Earth unleashed everything? No one knew how many ships humans truly had. No one knew how long they had been preparing. The mask of weakness had fallen, and the unknown behind it was worse than any weapon. On Earth, silence ruled, no statements, no threats, no promises. Humanity said nothing, and that silence was heavier than any battle. Alien spies tried to pierce the planet's defenses. They sent drones, infiltrators, even entire scout fleets. But what they saw made their blood run cold. Hidden under Earth's oceans, massive hangars opened. Gigantic ships rose from the depths, black hulls gleaming with strange lights. From mountains, bunkers opened like jaws, revealing war machines never seen before. In orbit, cloaked fleets uncloaked, one after another, their numbers endless. The spies reported and reported, but even they could not count. The sky above Earth was filled with ships, far more than anyone imagined. Admiral Marcus Kane stood inside the war room. Maps of the galaxy glowed on the walls, red zones marking enemy strongholds, blue lights marking human fleets. The commanders around him spoke with steady voices. "This is our moment," one said. "For centuries they looked down on us," another added. "They called us fragile. They treated us as children. They wanted to control us." The admiral nodded, his eyes hard as steel. "Now they will learn what it means to push humanity," he said. The galaxy still tried to prepare. The council announced that every empire must join forces. Worlds sent soldiers. Fleets gathered near border systems. But rumors spread faster than orders. Rumors that Earth had weapons that could erase suns. Rumors that human fleets were already moving in the dark. Rumors that Earth had been watching every empire for centuries. And in every rumor, fear grew stronger. Then, the first shadow fell. In the Drachner system, the lights went out. Every defense station went silent. Every fleet vanished from the scanners. When scouts arrived, they found nothing but wreckage and drifting corpses. No warning, no signal, no mercy. Only silence. The survivors whispered of black ships that moved without sound, weapons that cut through shields before alarms could even ring, and a single message carved into the broken metal of a station. Humanity has answered. Across the galaxy, panic spread. Worlds begged the Council to protect them. Leaders shouted for stronger defenses. But deep down, everyone knew the Council was powerless. Humanity had taken the first step into total war. On Earth, children looked up at the skies filled with ships. They asked their parents why the stars were trembling, and the parents whispered, "Because the galaxy finally saw our true face." Admiral Kane stood on the command deck of the Resolute. Before him stretched the largest fleet humanity had ever gathered. Thousands of warships, bristling with weapons, engines glowing like suns. He raised his hand and his words spread across the comms. "They wanted war," he said, his voice steady. "Now we give them war, not for survival, not for peace, but for justice. For every insult, for every chain they tried to place on us, we strike until they cannot rise again." The fleet roared with silence, the kind only warriors understood. Engines lit, ships moved, and humanity's answer began. The galaxy had declared war on Earth, but humanity had declared war on the galaxy. And the difference would soon shake every star. The Galactic Council declared full mobilization. Never in history had so many fleets gathered. Across thousands of systems, ships left their docks, armies filled transports. Factories burned day and night. Every empire, great and small, was ordered to commit its strength. It was not a war against one planet anymore. It was survival against the shadow of humanity. In the council chambers, leaders swore unity, but in their hearts, fear gnawed at them. Reports of Drachnor's silence spread like poison. Entire systems erased with no warning, no trace, only fragments and silence. The word human had become a whisper of terror. The United Armada assembled in the Selvar expanse. It stretched across the void like a sea of fire. 5,000 warships, dreadnoughts larger than moons, carriers filled with swarms of fighters. No force in history had ever been greater. The galaxy believed this was enough. It had to be enough. But humanity had been waiting. The human fleet emerged from the dark, not with numbers, not with endless swarms, but with precision. Each ship moved like it had studied the battlefield 1,000 times before. Every angle, every weakness, every path of attack was already known. The battle began with thunder. Alien ships unleashed storms of fire, plasma torrents, rail slugs, gravity bombs. The void shook with light and fury, but human vessels danced between the strikes. Their weapons did not. Roar wildly, they whispered with deadly calm. A single blast here, a silent missile there, and whole squadrons vanished. Alien commanders screamed in disbelief. Their tactics collapsed, their formations broken. It was as if humanity already knew what they would do before they even gave the order. And the truth spread like ice. Humanity had been watching them for centuries, studying every battle, every weapon, every weakness. The galaxy had been preparing for war, but humanity had been preparing longer. On the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Kane stood silent. He watched the map of the battle unfold. Red marks, enemy ships, blinked out one by one. His officers reported victory after victory, but Kane's face was grim. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "They still think they can win." In the council chamber, chaos erupted. Live feeds showed fleets collapsing, dreadnoughts shattering, carriers torn apart. The great empires shouted at one another. Some demanded surrender, others screamed for retaliation. But none could hide the truth. The galaxy was trembling. On distant worlds, civilians watched in horror. The so-called unstoppable armada was falling apart. Children cried, elders whispered prayers, and across those worlds, a single thought spread. If the galaxy could not stop humanity, then nothing could. Human tactics grew even darker. They targeted fuel depots, supply chains, and command hubs. Without firing on every ship, they crippled entire fleets. Alien soldiers floated in the void, abandoned. Some begged for mercy, others cursed. But humanity gave no answer, only silence, only precision, only war. By the battle's end, half the armada was gone. The rest fled in disarray, retreating into the darkness. And once again, humanity did not chase them all. They let survivors run. They wanted the survivors to speak, to carry the terror, to make the galaxy true. Even more, the council leader stood before the assembly, his silver skin pale with fear. "We are not facing a race," he whispered. "We are facing a storm that does not stop, a storm that will drown us all." And the chamber fell silent, because no one could deny his words. Humanity had shown the galaxy precision, calculation, and mastery. And now, the galaxy understood, this was not just war, this was domination. And the stars themselves shook in fear. The galaxy bled, armadas had fallen, fleets were shattered, and the Council's grand alliance was breaking under the weight of fear. Every broadcast showed the same story. Humanity did not fight for survival anymore. They were fighting to dominate. In the dark halls of the Council, panic consumed the leaders. Some begged for peace, others demanded vengeance. But no one could ignore the truth. Humanity had gone beyond defense. Now Earth was bringing the war to their very doors. The first strikes were swift and merciless. Human fleets appeared above border worlds without warning. Defenses that had stood for centuries were torn apart in minutes. Factories burned, supply lines were shattered, starports exploded into dust, entire systems were cut off from food and power. And the people who once mocked humanity now whispered their name with dread. But humanity's true weapon was not just fire, it was strategy. They did not waste fleets chasing every battle. They struck where it hurt most, cutting fuel depots, seizing communication hubs, destroying hidden shipyards. Every blow crippled 10 more enemy fleets without ever firing on them. Alien soldiers began to refuse orders. Some surrendered the moment human ships appeared. Others fled before the battle even started. Whole colonies raised white signals in the sky, begging for mercy. But mercy was rare. Humanity had suffered too long under arrogance and chains. Now they made the galaxy feel what Earth had felt for centuries, on the bridge of the Resolute. Admiral Kane's voice carried through the fleet. "They called us weak," he said. "They thought we were prey. Today we show them that the prey has become the predator. Today we make them remember our name, not as servants, but as masters." And the fleet moved like wolves through the stars. In the capital of the Thrin Empire, panic erupted. Citizens screamed in the streets as news arrived that 3 outer worlds had been reduced to silence. The Emperor himself trembled, his advisors begging him to flee. But even as he shouted for resistance, human ships appeared in orbit. The palace windows shook as fire rained down, and the once proud throne world of Thrin burned in a single night. The galaxy watched in disbelief. This was not war as they knew it. This was something greater. Something terrifying. Humanity struck not only fleets but entire civilizations. The message was clear. No one was safe. No empire untouchable. Some races tried to betray the Council. They believed if they surrendered to Earth, they might survive. But humanity did not trust them. They destroyed traitors as quickly as enemies, sending a warning. "There will be no bargains," the message said. "Only submission." World by world, system by system, humanity spread fire across the stars, and yet there was no joy in their eyes. The soldiers fought with grim silence. The commanders gave orders without celebration. This was not madness or cruelty. This was justice, cold and unstoppable. In the shadows of ruined worlds, survivors told stories. They said human ships moved like ghosts. They said human weapons tore open reality itself. And they said humanity's eyes burned with the fury of a race that would never bow again. The council's leaders wept in private. They had thought they could cage Earth, use it, mock it. But now the cage was broken, and the beast inside was free. The stars themselves seemed darker. The galaxy felt smaller. Because no matter where they turned, human fleets were already there, waiting. This was no longer a war of battles. This was total war, and humanity had become the deathworld. The galaxy was on its knees, empires had fallen, capitals were ash, and fleets that once ruled the stars were now wrecks drifting in silence. But still, the council called for one last stand. If they did not unite now, humanity would crush them all. Across the stars, messages spread. Every soldier, every ship, every weapon was summoned. Worlds stripped themselves bare, factories emptied, reserves vanished. Even species that hated each other marched under one banner. It was the largest force ever created. More than 10,000 warships, millions of soldiers and weapons forged in desperation. This was not just an army. It was the galaxy's final hope. On Earth, humanity watched without fear. Scouts had already reported the gathering fleets. Admiral Kane stood with his commanders in the war chamber. The galaxy thought it was uniting, but to humanity, it was only bringing all its prey to one place. Their last hope will become their grave, the Admiral said, his eyes cold. The battle began in the ruins of the Valar sector, a dead zone of shattered stars and drifting wrecks, the perfect battlefield for the galaxy's final gamble. The alien fleet stretched across the void, a wall of steel and fire. The council's leaders gave their speeches, their voices shaking. "This is for survival," one cried. "This is for our children," another shouted. But even as they spoke, fear filled their eyes. Then the humans arrived. Their fleet did not number in the thousands, it numbered in the hundreds. The galaxy laughed at first, thinking Earth had finally run out of ships, but when the first volleys came, the laughter died. Human weapons cut through the void with terrifying precision. Their ships did not fire wildly. Every shot was perfect. Every strike targeted the enemy's heart. Command vessels exploded first. Carriers burned. Fuel depots shattered. The galaxy tried to fight back. Storms of plasma, oceans of fire, endless swarms of fighters filled the sky. But humanity's ships moved like shadows. Every maneuver flawless, every counterstrike merciless. Alien admirals screamed. Some begged their soldiers to hold the line. Others cursed the humans with their dying breath. But one by one, their fleets collapsed. It was not just human firepower, it was human knowledge. Every tactic, every strategy the galaxy had ever used was already known, already broken. For centuries, humanity had studied them, and now the study was complete. From the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Kane spoke. His voice spread through the enemy comms, cutting across all languages. "You wanted war," he said, calm as death. "Now you have it. This is the reckoning, and there will be no mercy." Panic spread through the alien fleets. Some turned their weapons on each other, desperate to escape. Others surrendered mid-battle, raising signals of peace. But the humans did not stop. They struck until entire formations vanished. They struck until the battlefield glowed with fire, and the galaxy realized it was not fighting an army, it was fighting inevitability. By the battle's end, the void was filled with wreckage. Millions were dead. Thousands of ships destroyed. The council's dream of unity was broken, and all that remained was silence. The survivors whispered the same words again and again. Humanity cannot be stopped. The galaxy's last hope had been destroyed, its final stand crushed under iron and fire, and as the smoke cleared, the humans did not cheer. They simply advanced, cold, unstoppable, relentless. The reckoning had come, and the galaxy now lived only in humanity's shadow. The battlefield was silent. Wreckage drifted through the void like broken bones. The once proud fleets of the galaxy were now nothing but ash and twisted steel. The council's last stand had ended not with glory, but with silence. Across the stars, worlds waited in fear. Billions huddled in their homes, staring at the skies. Would the humans come? Would they burn entire civilizations? Would this? His face was carved in stone, his voice calm but heavy. The war is finished, he said. The galaxy's chains are broken, but the question remains, what do we do now? His commanders exchanged glances. Some called for mercy, others demanded conquest, but all knew one truth: humanity would never wear the mask again. Earth's leaders gathered in the war chamber beneath the mountains. The debate raged. Should they destroy the empires that had mocked and threatened them, or should they forge something new? Voices clashed, anger burned, old wounds reopened. But finally, the decision was made. Humanity would not erase the galaxy, but it would rule it. Not with illusions, not with masks, but with iron. Every surviving empire would kneel, every world would follow Earth's law, and those who resisted would vanish into the dust of history. The first proclamation was sent across the stars. It echoed through every system, every station, every palace. This is the new order, the message said. Humanity does not hide, humanity does not bow. From this day forward, the galaxy lives under our shadow. Resist, and you will burn. Submit, and you will live. On alien worlds, fear turned into surrender. Leaders fell to their knees before human envoys. Some offered tribute, others begged for mercy. And though humanity accepted their submission, it gave no smiles. There was no joy in their eyes, only cold resolve. In the ruins of the council chamber, the silver-skinned leader sat broken. He stared at the human delegation that now stood in the center of the hall. Why, he whispered, why hide for so long? Why pretend weakness when you had such power? The human envoy answered with steady eyes. Because we gave you a chance, we wanted peace, we wanted trust, but you laughed, you mocked, you threatened, so now you face the truth. This was always your choice. And the chamber fell silent because every surviving leader knew it was true. They had brought this upon themselves. On Earth, children played beneath skies filled with fleets. They grew up knowing their people had risen higher than any race before them. They grew up knowing the galaxy was theirs, no longer a fragile world begging for respect, but the heart of an empire that stretched across the stars. Admiral Kane stood alone on the balcony of the Resolute. He looked out at the endless void, the stars burning like scattered fire. We never wanted this, he murmured, but now it is ours, and we will never hide again. The galaxy trembled under the weight of those words, because this was no longer a question of survival. This was the dawn of a new age, the age of humanity, and the mask was gone forever.